let me tell you
Can we throw the
something.
lady some bail real quick? Because there is a widely stated misconception, hopefully, that when a black woman is doing what she thinks is right, even if she might have place for improvement, she doesn't know how to take accountability. And that's a thing that I hear a lot in the red pill spaces, right? So we just outlined that there's mothers who deeply love their children and unintentionally handicap them from a place of love and trauma. I will throw the lady some bail. Black women, more than any other group of women, have watched our sons be ripped from us in heinous ways.
Mhm.
That trauma is actually why a lot of this happens because our fear of the worst case scenario is often substantiated on the news. But
Mhm.
here's the thing though, that's our trauma. That's our trauma that we're superimposing on them and pretending it's about them when it's just as much about us.
Just
I've
about
done it to men that I've dated.
Mm.
I've done it to my nephews. I've done it to all the black men in my life. If you are a black woman who loves black men, that trauma gets activated subconsciously, and you tell yourself it's righteous and for them, but it's really your trauma a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys have heard today that may make you want to tweak perhaps the approach, even though the love is there and completely validated?
Tisha Scott.
Yeah, because you don't want to raise a lazy man at the end of the
The men
day.
that your
But at
girlfriends
the end of
complain
the
about while
day,
you're raising them.
but what you said, like,
Ooh!
what did she say? I missed it.
I said a lot of women will raise these men, but then go to brunch and hear their girlfriends complain about the same kind of man that they're raising. And there's
Right.
irony in that, right?
So I feel like that's why God give you two parents. You need your father in your life, you need your
Yeah.
mother in your life. There's things your mom can do. She can't be a man. She don't know how to be a man, but she know how to love you. And the world is tough. So we want to love on our black men because we know out here in this world, they tear them down.
Yes.
So when you're at
But
home, we want to love on you and be there for you and support you the best that we can. But we also know what it takes to be a woman. And maybe that's why we're a little bit tough on our girls, because I know what it takes to be a woman. But
But
a
your
man at
husband, though,
home,
you love your husband and you hold him accountable.
yeah.
So why is love being used as an excuse to eradicate accountability?
say it again for the person that's writing.
Okay, because you can love your husband. You're raising somebody's future husband, right? That's your
Yes,
responsibility
yes.
as a mother. If
But
you know that love has to include accountability with your husband, there's something that has to remind you that you have to do that with your son as well.
I do. I do. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was raised by a single woman. So
Me
a
too.
lot of things I didn't know that a man is supposed to do until I met my husband.
And she knows now for the last 20 years
And I expect that from my son.
because he says it for 20 years.
Yes, but I expect that from my son.
So,
And
Yeah.
that's why I say you need both of your parents around.
well, see, the thing also is that women, a lot of times, this is why we go back to the topic of conversation that they say they yell more because where they don't have the physical strength and the physical presence and the definite the tone in their voice, they think that the volume and the word choice is going to achieve what men can achieve with their presence. So they yell more. So what they think is telling him is going to actually make him respond. Men have to get taught that actual lesson. Men, Jamie, have you been in the gym? Carlos, have you been in the gym where that weight gets on you and you got to roll it off this way, roll it off that way?
absolutely,
That,
absolutely,
yeah, that's a lesson. That
yeah.
teaches that you're not ready for that weight yet. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't kill you. But that's a lesson you actually have to learn. And what women want to do is want to tell you the lesson, but they want to prevent you from going through what they went through. And there's some things that have made you successful that says that not only should he not have to go through some of the things that I went through, he should have to go through some of the things that I went through because that's what it takes to make a man.
Who you just
And I
described,
wanna
by the
and I
way?
wanna
Go ahead.
oh,
I
I
just
was
want to
gonna
tell them
say
real
this.
quick.
Go ahead,
Okay,
go,
go
go,
ahead.
go. No,
You
go.
just,
And I'm gonna go after
you
you.
just described, they've done studies on this, and this is why I love the science behind it. Black women in particular, a lot of women, but especially black women in this black women in this room, right? When they yell, they've seen that it is actually a sign of depression and frustration. So when black women, that angry black woman thing that we heard is a bunch of women who feel like mules who don't have the language to say, please help me, and their egos won't let them ask for it. That is a sign of depression and being ill-equipped. It's not even anger or nagging, it's a cry for help that's coming off as if you're trying to be authoritative, right? And so again, that's trauma. Everything that we're describing in right now are all the ways that Black women have found a way to take our trauma and feed our community, but it's not feeding us. And which is why Simone, with her degrees and her TV show and her big house and her ability to buy Teslas and whatever else, still at the end of the day, when she doesn't have the right language because she hasn't healed, ends up screaming like a chick off the street, none of that.
Mhm.
Until we heal the trauma that we're pretending is love, we're going to always end up screaming because you don't have the language. If I set a boundary and I actually enforce it and I let you fail because you didn't respect me, I don't have to yell because the consequences are working themselves out. But if I'm constantly saying things I
Mm,
don't mean and betraying myself,
Right. Right.
my depression turns into screaming.
Confidence speaks calmly.
Yeah.
mm.
Well, I do a
One
lot of
thing
screaming
that
here.
that was good. That was good.
Yeah, no
I
words.
now get it. Your frustration comes from not the fact that your, let's say in this case, your son made you angry is because of the betrayal you have for yourself.
So you betrayed
That was
yourself.
that was good. One thing I want to get into quickly is this. When it comes to being successful, right? Oftentimes, I don't want to count people's pockets in this room, but
You're rich.
sometimes we're the first six-figure plus earners in our families,
Mhm.
right? I strongly believe a lot of us made it out the mud because of the struggle. I think 99% of successful people are successful because they know what it's like to have lack. And in the back of our minds, we know that we don't want to go back there. So we're going to work extra hard to attain it.
Mhm.
Once we attain it, and this is for the parents, obviously, and Blue with her education, I do feel that there's this guilt. There's this subconscious guilt that we have as successful people in our families to where when it does come to kids, yes, we don't want them to struggle, but we also feel like there's this subconscious way of us making sure that you have everything that I wanted. And not only do I want you to have it, I also want to make sure that the world, and by the world, the community, the neighborhood, whatever, also know as Black people, oh, we got it like that. Like we got it like that. Like, yes, my
Mhm.
son at 16 can have a car. With that being said, where what's happening in the world now where you became successful because of the struggle, but you don't want your kids to invoke any sort of struggle to be as successful as you? So starting with Blue, where does that come from? And I want to hear from the parents.
Um, First of all, it's so funny because we talk about ego death a lot. It is ego, right? Don't make me look stupid. Don't make me look bad. I think Will Smith once, another Libra, Will Smith once confessed after years of extensive surgery that all the nice things he'd done for Jada were to make him look good as a husband. And Jada didn't want half of that shit, right? Like she didn't want most of it. She was like, "Hey, threw me a party, but I told you I didn't want a party, but it looked good." Like you're
Mhm.
constantly doing things that look good because it makes you look good as the person providing it for me, but it's not what I actually need, right?
Mhm.
I, how do I say this nicely? You have to be willing, whether it's with friends or your children or even your partner, to say, I love you and respect you enough to decenter myself and support you while you figure it out.
Mhm.
Support means I'm not abandoning you. You're not dying on the street. I'm using my resources to support you. I'm going to decenter myself because I respect you enough to help you figure it out. Children who, and this is something that I think, was it Maya Angelou? No, it was Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison said the way that a child knows that they are loved and safe is if your eyes light up when they walk into the room, because that non-verbally tells them you're excited to see me. A lot of mothers who coddle their sons are constantly scowling because they're calculating, how do I fix your next mess?
Mhm.
If we spent more time validating and less time centering ourselves, which means it's not about me and how I look anymore. It's about who and who you're becoming.
Mhm.
Care less about how you look and care more about the man that he's becoming or the woman that she's becoming. Because what also happens to the girls in this equation, we didn't mention them. These girls are now watching their brothers get away with murder.
Yeah.
And they're them being held to a different regard. And then you wonder why they're dating men who elicit that same kind of dynamic. So everybody's getting handicapped, even the girls who are being taught the skills that the boys aren't.
Mhm.
It behooves nobody to move like this. And here's the thing, guys. I don't care if your kids are 35, 45. It's never too late to course correct. It's never too late to course correct. So this is not meant to shame. It's meant to hold up a mirror and say, hey, if you don't like what you see, you can pivot. You can always pivot.
That's funny you said that because I told Brittany that we were doing a Zoom tonight and what it was about. And she was like, be honest and make sure you tell them how y'all bail him out, y'all pay his insurance, pay his tickets, and do all this stuff for him. We actually had a scene when what were we talking about Jason's wanting to be a DJ, one of the episodes. And remember, Brittany brought that up. She said, y'all treat them totally different than y'all treat me. So
Head
you're
over
right.
to my Patreon account. That's patreon.com/BeCarlosKing. Again, patreon.com/BeCarlosKing to watch this full episode.